Merry Christmas Eve or unhappy Christmas Eve or maybe very happy Christmas Eve if you're on Team Tank as the Bears lose their 8th straight game to fall to 3-12 on the season. They fall 35-13 to Buffalo, which they clearly got outplayed, especially in the second half, but I don't think the final score was indicative of the Bears actually being fairly competitive in this one, but the score is the score as the Bills do fall 35-13. I thought Justin Fields battled, did some good things, but not enough in the end. David Montgomery did rush for 62 yards, but had a fumble at one point. Velus Jones actually had a nice 44-yard catch downfield, but ultimately was not enough for the Bears offense as the Bears defense held in the first half, but ultimately over a 60-minute game just could not hold up as the Bills knocked down the Bears 35-13. And I think there's a few points, and we'll go through a lot of this here, but I think this game is really indicative of one clear thing. The Bears just don't have enough talent, right? They were up 10-6 at the half. They did battle. They're scrappy. They've been scrappy all year. But over the course of a 60-minute game, we saw it last week to an extent, but especially this week, this team just doesn't have enough, especially with the guys who are injured. And even with those guys, it wasn't enough. Just not enough talent to compete with a Super Bowl contender like Buffalo. That's just what this comes down to. Now, there's some things I saw that I didn't like. There's some things I saw that I did like. But at the end of the day, it's a talent issue. You got to get more talent this offseason. Now, who do you blame for the loss? That's my number one blame, just the lack of talent. Now, you could point to Luke Getsy, who I thought did not do some great things today. You could point to, the coaching as a whole. You could blame Justin Fields if you want, I guess, although I thought he played a pretty clean game overall, just not enough big plays. Let me know what you guys think. Who would you blame for today's loss to the Bills? Now, you look at this game a little bit further for Chicago, and the offense got held in check, right? I thought they came out, had a good opening drive straight down the field. After that, didn't do a ton. Now, that wasn't Justin Fields not making the right throws. It's just the offensive line couldn't hold up. I thought the play calling was a little bit suspect, and Buffalo did a good job of doing a couple things. One, they were not going to let Justin Fields' legs be a factor in this game, and two, after some strong running early, they took the running backs out of the game too, and which is smart, right? You're down 3 receivers. Your offensive line doesn't pass protect well. Make the Bears in 30-mile-per-hour winds beat you throwing, and it just didn't happen nearly enough. I thought Justin Fields was pretty solid for how windy it was, 15 of 23, 119 yards, but only 11 rushing yards. He was really held in check in that regard. Credit to Buffalo for that. They did a really nice job of doing just that. Did have a touchdown. I will give Fields credit, though. No turnovers. I mean, he's playing clean football, which is a very, very good thing to see. David Montgomery was having a really strong game, but then he slowed down, and then he fumbled as well, so that wasn't great. Just under 4 yards per carry there, 62 yards on 16 carries. I was a little surprised we didn't see more Khalil Herbert in his first game back. 6 carries for 7 yards. I mean, 2 catches, -4 yards. I mean, just total non-factor for Herbert. So that was definitely a surprise, at least on my end. But I think the Bills tried to take away the few playmakers the Bears had, and they did a good job of doing just that. Now, if you want to save some money, Rocket Money is going to help you do that. You can cancel any unnecessary subscriptions and cut down some costs with Rocket Money. Monitor your overall finances by going to rocketmoney.com/bearsnow, rocketmoney.com/bearsnow to download the Rocket Money app today, because what Rocket Money does is it shows you all of your subscriptions on one screen. It'll help you stay on any upcoming bills you have on top of them. And if you decide, hey, I don't want Netflix, or I don't want Hulu, or I don't want any other subscription, you click the cancel button next to that subscription, and they will cancel it for you. rocketmoney.com/bearsnow to get started today. Go ahead and get started with Rocket Money. It's rocketmoney.com/bearsnow to get started today. Appreciate Rocket Money for sponsoring today's show. Talk a little bit more about this one as, how about Velus Jones? Hey, listen, I've been critical of him, but I'll give credit where it's due. Caught a couple passes, tough slant that he squeezed, And then he also caught a nice vertical pass downfield for 44 yards, which is a great throw by Justin, by the way. And you're thinking, why not try more of that? I know it's windy, but no other shots. That was pretty disappointing from Luke Getsy, who I'll talk about in a sec. But hopefully Velus takes some small incremental steps these final couple games. That was a great catch for him. It was. So had a couple nice kick returns too. One past the 40, couple past the 30. So that's a good sign as well. So I thought this was definitely the best and most impactful game he's had all season long. So that was good to see on that front. After I ask you this question, I want to talk about Luke Getsy. Which side of the ball played better today? Type O for offense or D for defense? It's hard to say. Even though they gave up 35, I might actually lean the defense, but, I thought they were scrappy and did what they could. O for offense, D for defense. Let me know in the comments. Before we get to the defense again, I want to talk about Luke Getsy here. Getsy, look, let's just point out a few facts. You're down your top three receivers, Mooney, Claypool, St. Brown, which it's not like any of those are even a true number one, right? So that's number one. Your offensive line already stinks, and you're down multiple starters. Cody Whitehair, Teven Jenkins. Schofield was banged up for a little bit in this game as a backup. You started Larry Borum at left guard. By the end, it was Dieter Eisland. I'm not sure if Borum got nicked up or what happened there, but you've got a bad offensive line. So I do understand those facts, and that's what they are. They are facts. But there's situational things that Getsy does that I just don't understand. Like, you get the Nick Morrow interception inside the 20. You go swing pass for -2, handoff for no gain, and then on 3rd and 12, you're asking Justin Fields to pull off a miracle against a top 5 defense. I just do not understand it. And I think that, yes, the talent gap is a problem, but I think there are situational things that being frustrated with the play caller is valid. I do think there is some validity. Oh, and by the way, you're down 15 points with a minute and a half left or whatever, and you go for a 4th and 14, and Justin Fields comes up gimpy after he's under siege once again. That's just malpractice. I just don't understand that. I mean, why even go for that at that point? The game is over. So I like some of what Getsy does. I think he has some good conceptual things, but there's certain situations where I'm just like, well, that sequence sucked. And I think that he's got to improve, and he's a first-year play caller, and he's still learning, and I get that, but I do want to be fair in how we assess and analyze all this. Talk about the defense a little bit here. Gave up 426 yards, 172 passing, 254 rushing. Obviously gave up a bunch of yards, not great on 3rd down. But what I will say is 2 takeaways, right? 2 or 3? 3 takeaways. 2 Josh Allen picks and a fumble recovery. So that was very nice to see. So you're starting to get some turnovers, which is part of the hits principle, because you picked off Allen twice and Nick Morrow, Kyler Gordon. 15 of 26, 172. You'll live with that all day. Allen burned you a couple times running, but at the end of the day, this is a MVP type of player, and you held him in decent check. The problem was you got gashed on the ground. That is where the Bears really missed Jack Sanborn today. Devin Singletary, first 100-yard game of the year. James Cook added another 99. Josh Allen got loose. I mean, you gave up over 8 yards per carry, and that includes some garbage time runs where the Bears are selling out and they know the Bills are just trying to run the clock out. So that wasn't good. But Kyler Gordon, listen, if I'm giving a game ball to someone, it's probably Kyler Gordon. He's improving every single week. 2nd straight game with the pick. That was nice to see. Really nice. Jalen Jones almost had an interception. Josh Blackwell played well. I mean, these young guys are starting to figure it out. They're starting to figure it out. And I think, as we go through these last couple games, those are the type of things you can look at as, something of value in these final couple games where, in reality, we know losing is probably the better outcome when it comes to the NFL draft scenarios. Now, get subscribed to the channel. We will continue to keep you guys updated on Tank Watch, the latest Bears news, rumors. We'll still go live for the final 2 games. We'll still go live every single Tuesday throughout the rest of the season, or throughout the season and into the off season. So make sure you guys subscribe. We'll have you covered. This is the channel for you, so don't miss any of it here on Chicago Bears Now. We're less than 400 subs away from 58,000. Final thoughts, just a quick little tease, kind of the tank meter here. So Texans-Titans got started late because of a delay. The Titans are up 1 point with 7.5 minutes to go as we film this. So depending on when we get this out here in the next 20 minutes or so, that could change. But if the Texans were to win and beat the Titans, that means that the Bears have a real chance of the number 1 pick, because if the Bears were to lose their final 2 games and the Texans won one of their final 2, if they win today, they could still get the number 1 selection. And if you look at the Bears' final 2 games, at Detroit, I get they struggled today and lost to Carolina, but that's still going to be a game you're probably going to lose. And then Vikings at home, if the Vikings have something to play for seeding-wise, you're probably going to lose that. You're probably losing your final 2. And if Houston can win 2 of these final 3, including today, then you got a chance to get that number 1 pick, which obviously, I mean, the hype would be incredible heading into the offseason. So as far as today, 8th straight loss. Listen, the Bills are a much better team. It's okay to admit that. It just is what it is. Bears lose 35-13 to fall to 3-12 on the season. We'll leave you with this question. Will the Bears get the number 1 overall pick? Type Y for yes. Type in for no. Let us know down in the comments section.